very devastating when you think you have found a Mr. or Mrs. Right and your parents think he or she is all wrong or for you, or is not the right partner for you. If you're close to your parents, you want their approval before taking this big step. You also want to remain loyal to the person you are committing to spending the rest of your life with. The question we are asking today is, how much influence should your parents have on your relationship or in choosing your life partner? The program is Turn Up. Stay with us. It's always very exciting to be with you on another edition of the program Turn Up, a program that seeks to empower women and the girl child, and our focus for the year 2018, empowering our women to participate fully in economic life across all sectors, is essential to build stronger economies. If you want to participate in today's edition of the program, you can write to us or send the messages you see on your TV screens. You can equally watch your past editions on YouTube. You can equally follow us on Facebook. You just need to type Turn Up and you have all our past editions. Now I want to know who our guests are. You can only do that after the jingle. Of course, we are in 2019 and we have invited fine brains as usual. We have women and a man to accompany you in the course of the program. They're here to give their views on the burning issue. We're here to talk about parents' influence in the relationship, in your marriage. And I begin with somebody that is very close to me, seated right beside me, Emmanuel Nyoki. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Maureen. Thank you to your televiewers, and I'm happy you're invited.
You're a journalist.
Yes.
Now, how challenging is your job? I'm fond of asking that before getting to the subject.
Very, very challenging, mostly as we're in a period in the country where there's crisis everywhere. So, not to talk too much, but it's very challenging because now you have the field work, you have the investigative work, and you have the right to tell the people the truth and the right information.
I can be arrested.
Definitely, you can be, so you need to watch out with what you're saying, because they say we're in a free country with free speech, but like NDIH said when he was making one of his famous speeches, that you have the right to talk, but after talking, it does not guarantee your security. So there's freedom of speech. You can say anything that you want to say, but after talking, you never know what happens to you.
All right. We equally have Eva Wakam. You're welcome to the program. Entrepreneur.
Thank you, Maureen. Yes, I'm in entrepreneurship and leadership, doing the marketing for a Pan-African school. And I'm the representative in Francophone Sub-Saharan Africa.
So what evolution do you make? The last time you came on the program, have you evolved?
Yes, we have had quite a good response from Cameroon and other countries, and we hope to go more and more.
All right. Now, I want us to set a piece with this teaser. Let me put it that way. We are asking, should parents have an influence in your relationship or marriage? Let's watch. We'll be right back. We all want our parents to approve our choice in a partner. The desire for this kind of affirmation is natural, and during stressful times, we need our family.
1 + 1 is 1. Now in be the melody, I go to play you forever. Can nobody treat you like I do, my baby.
But when making a lifelong decision, such as marriages, it's important to remember that you are the one who has to live with that decision, not your mom or your dad. This is not to say that your parents' opinion should be disregarded when considering a life partner. Oftentimes, they know you just as well as, if not better than your partner, and they also often have the life experience to know what a good marriage looks like. That said, your parents' disapproval of your future mate puts you in a tricky situation, and you don't want to stubbornly disregard the opinion of the people you value most. So how much weight do you place on your parents' opinion when deciding when to link up for life with the man you love?
This is reality. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
About four things put together. We're talking about parents, marriage, relationship, and parents' influence on your marriage and relationship. Is it common today in society to have people complaining that no, my parents said this, or doesn't want me to date this person, or says I should is going to stop the marriage because parent doesn't want that person? Is it common?
I'll start by saying yes, it is. But let me explain something. When you want to get married, that's a very important step in your life. Let's say the first step when they give birth to you. Definitely the second step when you're done with probably your education or to a certain level, and then one of the most important steps in life, like before you're there, something that happens to you which is important is the marriage, is your marriage life, and your parents have a big role to play in it. If I want to put it in percentage, I would say your parents should have at least 30%. I know you're looking at me, that shouldn't be, but 30%, we should not look at it, we should not undermine it, because your parents have the experience. Why? Because they have lived it.
So it's not 100%.
No, it's not 100%. Definitely, you have, yeah, they do. You have the largest percentage to take the results. You have 70, that means the load is on you. But your parents have at least 30%. Because everything you do in your life, your parents, it comes back to them if something is wrong with you. Nobody wants to see the daughter go into a marriage and later comes back home, because if you come back home, even if you're renting and you're not in your husband's house after you've been married, it is still said she has gone back home. So nobody wants the daughter to be like that or the son to be like that. So your parents have many things to do in your marriage. I say 30%. Why? In our society today, we're in the 21st century and a lot of things have changed. Let me take us back to probably the 20th century, the way things were done, with the parents looking into the families. When probably they were the ones even saying that my daughter will get married to this person. When a child is born, they look at the male child already. That means the two parents decide that no, we want our children to come together. Why? Probably because of the behavior of the family. This family is very close to this family. They love the way the family is. They check things like diseases. This family does not have madness running in this family, the way they behave. They don't have curses, like maybe somebody has hung himself in the family. They say that that family is cursed because of one reason or the other. So there are certain things they look at in that particular family and they term that family a cursed family, and nobody wants your child to get into that kind of family. So those are some of the things.
So
that
which
they
means
look
that
at.
what you're trying to say is that your parents have at least an influence. They can stop a relationship.
Definitely, that's why I said.
And you accept that.
I'm talking about the 20th century. I'll come back now to our century.
All right.
There was a lot of influence due to that.
Okay.
But now in the 21st century, things have evolved and things have changed.
Okay.
Like when you send your child to
But
school.
it's still common.
It is still common, definitely. There are parents who don't accept, but there are parents who don't accept, and the children still go ahead and get married, and then they say, I'm living my life, not the life of my parents. So there are those who take the decision and go. There are those who have regretted that decision, because when you go like that and something happens, no marriage is perfect. When there's a problem and you cannot come back home to report, or you're dying in silence, then you start regretting the day you went into that house without your parents' agreement. But there are others that have lived happily after, and they said, if I had listened to my parents, I would not probably be enjoying what I'm enjoying now. So it's not like a perfect thing. There's always a trance in the middle. There are those that it has worked for them, and there are those that it has not worked for them. But I would not advise anybody to go into a marriage without having their parents' accordance. Not 100%, because they would never probably like somebody so well,
But you can
and they want
convince
you.
them.
Definitely, that's what I'm saying. Not
Giving the
100%.
positive side, maybe. Of
And the man needs to show his worth. Likewise, the woman, if it's a daughter or a son, you need to show your worth. Like when you get into.
someone who just maybe the man just from the first appearance say, no, I don't. The parent doesn't even want to hear anything about.
That's
it.
when you need to convince the parents. That's when you need to convince them why. The man's behavior, the way he's treating you, the way he's behaving towards his in-laws, and then the way his family too is behaving towards their in-laws. That also helps to change a lot of things. Maybe before you guys get married, you see everything is so well. Meanwhile, if somebody was there on the first day, it was kind of horrible.
Right, Eva, do you agree with her? She said a lot of things.
Yes, she did. What I will say is sometimes parents they just take the decision without having any any point or
parents,
any
parents have an influence?
they should definitely have an influence because they know you better than sometimes they even know you more than you know yourself. They are your parents, they love you sometimes even more than you love yourself.
But you love the man.
You do, but parents know better what his child wants or needs in his life more than what you want. Sometimes, they have lived with you since you were, newborn until the age that you have today. So they can say you used to behave like this. Maybe today you behave differently because this or this happened. Considering something else happened, you might have a different reaction as well because they have experienced that situation with you many times. There are advices considering their wisdom, their age, they went through that experience, and even the different step of life.
But you can bet with me that some have not worked.
Definitely, nothing is perfect.
A parent will tell you that I don't want you to get into that relationship, but not really knowing who the person.
We have seen cases like that. Parents said, we want you to get married to this one, and it does not work. And we have seen situations when parents said, I don't want you, and children still went ahead and they got married. And it's sustaining, it's a long life relationship. So there are cases that are different for different reasons, different situation. No one can tell, but definitely parents have to get involved because it's even a blessing for children, to get their parents' approval before they get married.
Parents who reject a man and the children go ahead and get married. They have 1, 2, 3 children, and they finally accept and they still give their blessings.
Yes, that is also possible because the man blesser is above parents, and
so that was the real man for the child, for the daughter.
We can take it that way.
That's what we're talking about, those proving their worth. Because like if somebody is rejecting something and then you prove otherwise, contrary to what the person was thinking, the person has no reason to tie down on one particular aim or mindset that the person had. Obviously the person will change their mind. But if what the person was saying actually 1 or 2 years and you're down to it, the person was like, that's what I was saying, and definitely it's not going to work.
Is it possible that when you're dating, let's before you even get married, telling your parents that this is the person I'm dating and the person wants to get married to me, is it possible to open up
to your parents to say?
Parents?
Definitely,
yes.
It starts
At
from
that
the
level,
dating
is it possible that
section.
they influence?
Yes, I will say yes, especially if you are aiming to get married, because it's not something that you should take lightly. Otherwise, you might be wasting your time and energy and finance and all that it takes, So if you see if it's a relationship that you want to take, very far, then rather involve parents at the level where they have to get involved into. From the beginning or when you start getting sure that yes, this is what I want.
Okay. Now, what level do you involve the parents?
That is one point. Normally, when you get into the fiancé level, because most people have this tendency that they have introduced somebody like, this is my fiancé or this is somebody
Why
I'm
not at the
dating.
beginning?
No, because there are most people who have gone through the separation stage, and you don't want to bring 5 people to your parents. This is the person I'm dating, and I want to get married to him. It does not make probably a year or 2 you guys are separated. The next time again, will you keep on bringing people? Nobody wants that my mom or my dad should see that I'm dating many people till I get the
That's
person.
right.
Everybody wants to be sure that this is the person. When he gets to the fiancé level, you know that no, at least before getting to the fiancé level, he must have taken you, or she must have taken you to the family, likewise the boy. So when you guys meet to that level, you're sure now. That's when you guys get to present it to your family. But when you're on dating level, you're just checking. Nobody is sure of anything. So who wants to put his leg inside that
now,
mouth?
when you get to that level, what do you do? If your parents say no,
Then it's at that fiancé level, the parents have a lot to do, because like there are parents who don't like particular tribes for particular reasons, and there are those who sit you down and tell you that see what has happened, see this, see this, see this. And there are some girls who, or boys who look at the situation that has happened, something that has traumatized them in their life, something that has happened that probably because of the person he or she married, he has kind of forgotten a little bit, and the parents bring you all that, and it dawns on the person, and the person say no.
okay.
I know cases that the person, because of everything that was brought to the person, the proofs that were shown and saying, look at this, it is from lineage to lineage, it's going to happen to you, this, that. If you don't want to go through all that, and there are those who back down.
Okay.
It happens. But there are others who say, no, that was that person, probably mine is going to be different, this, that. But there are others who follow serious prayers, because there are those who went into it and it's not working. Now you see them move
Breaking
from church.
every barrier.
You see them move from church to church, and things are not working, and now they are looking for a spiritual breakthrough. And some of them will tell you, I was told that it was going to happen, but since I decided to get married to this girl, I would go through that stress to fight that thing, let it be broken. So
All right. Eva,
it depends on the
I'm going a
steps.
little bit private. Now I want to ask you,
Okay. Yes.
in your own case, now what did you do? Did you tell your parents?
To be honest, I told my parents at the stage of fiancé.
Why at that
Yes.
stage? Because you're still
Um,
studying the man, or
No, I was pretty sure, but just as Emanuela said, I didn't want to, to bring, and then I mean, when you bring parents into that, then things must move kind of fast, it's not only on to your own power at this time. Now parents start planning, because they are now involved. So it was after he proposed that I said, we have this that we call knock the door, it was at that time when the parents were coming.
Before then, were your parents like interested? Because you have parents who are more interested in the life, emotional life of the children. Were they like asking lots of questions, trying to influence?
Yes,
the type
definitely.
Of man we should date, we should go for, and we should not go for.
Yes, definitely.
That's when they start.
Especially my mom. She was really, she would be questioning, like, are you seeing someone?
In one way or the other.
Yes, but I think I kind of kept her. I said, I have a friend, very serious. When it's time, I will let you know. At some
Did you
point,
make her understand that you two can make a decision
I did.
for yourself?
I did, but I must also say this, I told her who he was, the type of person he is, and all that. I think that kind of reassured her, because
So if you want to reject, you just start rejecting just at that
yes,
stage.
yes, because I've had relationship that she rejected in the past. She was like, no, I don't like this person. I don't like his behavior. He's not. He's looking lazy. He doesn't look like someone who will be able to provide, things like that.
And there was no way you could convince? You tried?
I did, but I think I was very young, and I myself did not have enough power. You are not financially stable yourself, so you're still under your parents.
Okay.
Yes. So all that, I was like, yes, maybe I need to put things down and follow the parents. Then later on, I will see.
Now, and when the parents had to, if you presented your fiancé to your parents and they said no at that stage, what would you have done?
Whew.
that's a big one.
Really, I don't know. I don't know.
But at first instance, you like shocked. You like you're going to be angry.
Definitely,
Yeah,
I will be
definitely
angry.
You're going to be angry.
Definitely.
For solutions. Now, what would immediately come to your mind? What are you going to do? Are you going to just like, okay, my parents have said so let me let go? Are you
Definitely
going to let go
no.
easily?
Definitely no.
What
I would have, you know, I would have taken the time to convince them, to show them wrong. As Emanuela said, you know, maybe you are making wrong judgment of this one. He's not the kind of person you think he is, and you know, unless they present like very solid reason for saying no. But from my own judgment, I did not see any, unless unless they present like, you know, something that put on the table. There is no way I can go with that.
All right.
Otherwise, I would have just been
What
stubborn.
if they propose some other person?
No.
Eva, when you come right back to you.
To just add to what she said before, you said, like, I'll just take a little example as she's talking about proving, giving an example that it was outrightly open that, like, you need to say no here. I have one of my mom's relatives, okay, he was out of the country and he wanted to get married to a girl here, and he asked his sisters, he knew the girl, but it's been long and many things have happened, and he said, okay, check out the girl, how is she? Is she married now? And so I used to know her before, but it's been long. And so when they checked out things with the girl, they discovered, they went right up to her medical reports and they discovered that the girl was sick. She actually had SIDA. Okay, AIDS, people can live with AIDS, but it depends if your other partner is having AIDS. Okay. Two of you can live. But if the other one is not having and he needs to be away, you don't need to get married to somebody that is definitely they need to do. So my mother told him, like, I've gotten to this level and it seems this girl is sick. So what I want you to do, let's not take from what I've said because I've not really seen her results. I've found out, I've asked some questions. You, when you come, what the guys, two of you need to go and check up yourselves. Ask her to go to the hospital and you do the test and make sure she's not sick. And he said that, okay, he was going to come and do that. Thank you for the investigation and everything. But when he came and the girl, they met each other, he asked the girl to come and meet my sister and the two sisters. They should go and do the test. The girl caught up on one excuse to the other. She was sick. She was busy.
That was clear before that.
Yes, that she was. My mother called. This girl is
Mm-hmm.
not coming, and you are almost coming because he was coming to come and because he had already spoken to her. Both of them had already accepted. They wanted to do their marriage. It's this sick issue that was blocking things. Come and do the test. He's already coming for the marriage. She was giving one excuse to the other until he finally came. My mother said she did not finally come, so I don't know how you guys are going to do it. Go and do the test. But when he came, the love was sweet. Whatever. He forgot about that, and I don't know, it's like
got married to the girl.
he actually got married to her, and I bet you my uncle is sick now. So
which means that if he had listened,
exactly, those are things that, as she said, proofs that somebody tells you that this is what is happening and you take it serious. And he's regretting all his life. They are not even together because by the time he was the first, he felt sick, and before when he did the test, they said he was sick. Before he remembered that, that's when it dawned on him that, but somebody had told me that before, and now he started accusing her. Now there's no peace at home. They don't live together and so on. So it's just to show that there are certain things that when they show you proof, like, you need to listen to that. But there are others that when the proof is not there and you will not take that serious.
What about you? Did your parents like influencing your decision to get when you're getting married, influence your choice of a man?
No, they didn't. No, not really, not really. But there was a lot of working.
Happened?
My dad did not really want me to. I'm married to a francophone, and I'm an anglophone. He did not really want that cross-country kind of marriage. He was not really. But I had to. It was a process of introducing him to him and telling him, like, there's not. He knows that they don't have francophones, don't have any problem. But he has never really lived with them. You know, when you don't really know people very well, you kind of judge them differently. And so there was a whole working process, introduction process, way before he even met him. So when the meeting took place, it was kind of, I know you already, because of all the background work that had already been done. So that it was not difficult for them to go through. But if that background work was not done, I bet you that first day would have been catastrophic. Because my dad is somebody very strict. It would have been a whole big cow that day.
They had other persons that they had rejected?
No, because I was not bringing in people. Like, when you're not sure, you don't bring in people. The rejection was me with them, with the people that was rejected, but not like
influential
before.
in one way or the other, even from the dating stage, trying to know who you're going out with.
No,
to
I was
make sure
kind of
that you're in the right-
orientated.
Okay.
Like generally, growing up, they kind of orientate you differently. You know, life is like this. See these people like this. If you go this way, you're going to fall. If you don't go this way, so there was a whole orientation when I got to kind of 15 years, because my dad, we were mostly girls. So with the female, when you have female children, there's a lot of background work, and so that kind of orientation started when I was kind of 15. So it helped me in making the choice, and when I brought the choice to them and the whole background work that was done, it was not kind of difficult.
So, Eva, you're saying that women should listen a lot to the parents?
Yes,
Before making the
especially
right
women. Yes, especially. Why do I say especially? A man, you know, he's having his word. I mean, his word of his own. You know, he knows from afar what is good for him, and he's going to build a new family.
So you think men don't suffer that?
They do, but less than female. As you know, from my family, I know, you know, I have sisters who, when they were getting involved with people from different tribes, and you know what they were told, it was difficult for them. Why? They said women are going. You know, a man remain in the family, but women are leaving. It would be, at some point I was dating someone, you know, not from a different continent, and my mom was like, if I have to go and meet my grandchildren, imagine how many hours I'll have to travel. At some point I might not even be able to travel anymore. So it's a kind of barrier. But if you are within my, you know, my circle or something, then anytime I feel like seeing
my
my
grandchildren.
yes,
So
then the
obviously
family
that's-
remain there.
Okay.
But for a man, it's less complicated, you know, because the woman goes to the man.
All right, now I want us to get this reaction from women in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, where they are talking more about exorbitant bride price, though it's not what we're talking about. But let's watch. We'll be right back.
This is a very wonderful question, and I will start by saying that some years back I did a small study in my village in Com to look about this aspect of dowry, and the discovery that I had was alarming, because not alarming, it was interesting. It was interesting, and I was happy that I discovered that. In fact, what prompted me was that in my work as a gender activist, I found out that dowry was a problem. And so I went into the village, I sampled some people and right to the palace, and I was told that dowry in those days was viewed as a contract, as a certificate, as a contract between the two families. And in my tradition, they used to call it Ibibo, which means collar, not just an exchange, to know that we have exchanged, we have become one. Our daughter is with you. Your son is also with me as a wife's mother. And so, but as the years went by, people commercialized it. People commercialized it because they became so asking for exorbitant prices. Some of them priced women according to their color, according to their education, according to their beauty, which is natural, given by God, and stuff like that. So for me, I reject the issue of dowry. In my tradition, what obtains is that what is given is exchanged for me is the same thing that will be exchanged for my daughter. But some people are becoming so money-minded that they don't even respect that rule. So I think in my family we are fighting against it, and it is really actually going to follow what we think is appropriate. But what I'm saying is that I'm calling on the girls, the women themselves, because sometimes women, you hear a woman say that, how much you pay for my head? I think that is not relevant. It is not how much is paid for you that makes you valuable, that valorizes you. It is not what is paid on you. It is who you are and what you stand to offer as a woman. It is that person, that beautifully and wonderfully created human being in the image of God that you are, that is important. So I am calling first of all on women. Stop thinking that your value in a marriage house is when a huge sum is paid for you, because that dowry is I'm even calling it dowry. Income we have two. We have bride price and we have dowry. Income, bride price is what the husband's family bring, and dowry is what the woman's family bring. But in the event of divorce or whatever, most often they're asking only for the bride price. Nobody bothers about the dowry. Whereas in an event of a marriage, the woman's family brings on board so much.
Exorbitant dowry on our daughters, like it was on some of us, remain an issue of human rights in Cameroon. I think the exorbitant dowry in itself transforms a woman into a commodity that it's been sold for the value that the husband wants her to be. And I think this is a gross violation of human rights because it relegates the woman to a commodity, and it has been the cause of many of our daughters being unmarried. With the economic crisis and the hard times, most men cannot afford for this dowry. They prefer to cohabit, and again, when they cohabit, the women are still the disadvantaged people in this cohabitation. So I think if some people, a lot has already been done. I got married 25 years ago. I was not dowried per se. It was an agreement between two families brought together by a young man and a young woman. And I think if a lot continues to be done, our boys will feel comfortable to get married to women for love and not because they can purchase that woman.
I've seen girls who have run into men's houses without being married because their parents ask for so much money, and then when they go there, the only insult they get every day is that after all, your family refused that I should not marry you and you force yourself on me. I've seen so many of them through my work, and some girls have actually refused that they will not get married because they don't want to be bought. You know, somebody's not property. Because of this so-called bride price issues, you hear some men calling women property. You are my property, it is outrageous for a human person to be termed property. So for me, I'm calling on the public to say that we need to start conscientizing ourselves. Let's go back to the roots. Let bride price or dowry remain the exchange. The kind of exchange that family, they call another want to exchange in order to get our son and daughter live together happily. Because the bride price has brought a lot of domestic violence. It has brought a lot of gender-based violence. Sometimes women will talk back carelessly at the men, saying that after all, if you paid so much on me because I was important, or how much did you pay on me even, you know? And then men too will get back at women and say, all my money I deposited on you, so you are my property. We need to stop that.
That might not be the only reason why women are getting married, but I think if that effort is done already to start with, as I said earlier, most men want to get married to women out of love, not just because they can afford to purchase those women. And most women will love to get married to men because they love them and not because those men can pay their dowry, which I call purchasing them.
I don't know whether it's fortunately or unfortunately, I come from a family that believes in the liberty to choose who we want to live with, and our family instead encouraged us to get into relations. The exorbitance of dowries, I don't know whether parents are selling their daughters or they really want their daughters to be in a relationship where they feel okay or they are like partners in the relationship. Why should we ask for exorbitant dowries? Dowries, I think, are a constant thing. I don't even know those who came with the fact that dowry should be paid on the girl rather than on the boy. I have been a militant for really a stop to this. Legislators took into account that, and I think the penal code talks about dowries that was modified in 2016. Many Cameroonians are not aware of that, but I think Cameroonians should avail themselves of this document, check the articles that talk about dowries. I don't think dowry is the only problem that hinders our girls from getting married. Because if a girl is bent on getting married and the problem, the obstacle becomes the dowry, she again has a say as to her well-being. You are not a pawn or a toy that they're just auctioning to some man. A woman goes into a relationship for partnership. No young man today wants to get married to a young girl who is not working or who is not qualified enough to. So it's a 50-50 relationship. Our parents should rethink. Those who are still asking for those exorbitant dowries should rethink and don't punish their girl children, but the girls too should assume their responsibilities, tell their parents that they are not goods for trade.
Women are reacting on exorbitant dowry, but that's not the topic for today. The topic is, should parents have an influence in the relationship or marriage of their children? And the man who's joined us here in the studio is called Pastor Diodone Acha. He is a family counselor. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, how are you today?
I'm very
Let's
fine.
go straight with the question.
Yes.
Should parents have an influence in
Now,
marriage or relationship?
when we talk
of the
about
children?
parents having an influence, it is a bit broad because there are direct and indirect influences. Number one, the first influence that parents is having on a child is your own character, the way you're bringing up them.
Okay.
So in that way, the way the family is set up, it already molds up a child. That's the first influence you're having on the child. So it is not like before you get married. So you see, if you're living in your house, you may be the mother or the father. They are copying directly from you. It's not what you say, it's what you do. So most often we think that it is just I'll get up someday and try to start giving you an advice. Because if you watch at me, my life and every stuff, at the end of the day, you will even know the kind of person to come present to me. That is just that, what did I say, direct influence. So there will not be, and some cases, I mean, before the child or the girl or the boy is bringing up somebody to you, it's obvious he or she knows that my parents are going to accept this or not that.
Is it right for parents to choose partners for their children?
At some cases,
That's making a choice.
yes, I think the parents could only advise, not really choosing directly. Because if we go back biblically, you look at, like Abraham, he said, look for a wife for me among my family. Look for a wife for Isaac among my family. And then there were some certain people that they said, look for this. They were trying to go up that way. Not like a particular woman, but this particular race or tribe or whatever. So I don't think it's direct, because choosing, I might have my own interest, but it's not your own interest. Maybe it's not what you like. It's what I like. So there's a film, Titanic. If somebody, any of you have ever watched Titanic, that woman there was forcing the girl to get married to that man because the man was rich. That's all. And she even told the daughter it's for our benefit. She was trying to end her life by that forcing her daughter to get married to that man. So most often, if parents are trying to arrange, it is for their own interest. It's not even for your own interest. Your own interest might just count just 20 or 30%. But sometimes they do that, especially when it comes to religion. And if you look, like, there are some people, like if you want to go back to religion, you find the Islam, you find the Indians, you find even the Jews. They've lived like that in a community for a long time because maybe they influenced their children to get married to particular tribe or this. We don't go out of this.
Is that right? The consequences are there, of course. Are
Well,
there any consequences?
They are, because I could go back again to the Bible. There's somebody called Samson and Delilah. What happened? The parents wanted him to get married to a particular girl, or to get married just to because they were Jew. They were Jewish people. But he got married instead to a Philistine. And until the day he died, before they realized that it was the plan of God for him to get married to that woman so that he could destroy the Philistines. So sometimes it is not always good. Now we are getting into the world that we are intermarrying and getting mixing up. Some people see state to their own. That's why you find the Indians, they are just this way. These people are this way. I don't want to wear. I don't think it's that good. Like me, I'm married to a francophone, but I'm from the Northwest.
Okay.
My wife is from the West Province. Okay. So, I mean, normally people will not.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Now, Manuela, if your parents like choose somebody that you get married to, or say, okay, I need to date this person, at first glance, you don't like the person, or but your parents think that maybe with time you might love him, and you give a try. At the end of the day, you know that you don't love the man. Are you going to go ahead because your parents chose him for you?
Definitely no, because they're not the ones who are going to live with him. I'm the one living with him. Probably you give a first.
Because
a
I'm
second
asking this
look.
question because there are women who don't have that ability to say no.
And they die silently.
They
yes,
die silently. You don't say no to your parents.
Yes,
but you're the one in the relationship.
There are people who are living it right up to date, that they have been unable to say no to their parents or their environment because I don't want people to say this, I don't want people to feel like this, so I'm obliged to do this particular thing or accept whatever is being said in the house and so on. And today they're dying in silence and they'll be regretting every day. So there are people living in that, but I would say no. Why? Because I'm the one living with him and not. If you might give the person a second look because your parents have chose that person, probably want to look at what are they really seeing behind that person. But as you say, if you go on being with the person and you've discovered that I really don't love this person, then what is the essence? Why are you dying there for? I think life is meant that people should live happily. There are already difficult challenges in life, day in, day out, that if you come back home and you cannot still be happy and rest, then there's no
What
need.
if you've had 2 kids, 2 kids?
There's nothing that is tying somebody. I don't buy that idea. I'm one of those who stand for the fact that if you're not happy. Yes, we are Africans. We are Africans, and if we want to look at our culture, that's the worst, because your culture accepts that you should get married to so many people as you want. Given that our culture accepts polygamy. If you go back to the African culture, it's Christianity that has come, and we're reading the Bible and God says one man, one woman. But if you go back to African culture, like you can get married to, men get married to as many women as they want. It's the woman who does not really have a voice in our African culture to say, I want to leave this man and get married to the other man. But the men have the free will. If it's not working this way, take another one and add on top to the other one you have. And sometimes they even add like that and they abandon the other one. They are not separated officially or divorced, but he's with another woman and thinking of going to the other man. So if you want to look at the society, Christianity is different from our African culture, and most people, it depends on what you have embraced. If you have embraced Christianity, then you want to do things the way the Bible says. But though there are still people living with in polygamous home and they are living well, and while there are those who are in hell.
Now, Pastor, do parents have a role in the emotional life of their children? Or they allow them live the emotional life alone and only come to them at the right time?
See, coming to talk on that, I believe that they can only advise, because like she was saying something that is so very important.
Okay.
I tell people, don't just get married to anybody. Like the person. You must like your spouse, either physical. Just like the person before you fall in love with that person. Because the first thing is that you admire a person before you desire the person.
Okay.
So most often, if you force a girl into a relationship, she might not have admired that person. She doesn't even desire that person. And it's painful when it comes now into maybe when they're having their relationship. She doesn't. Sometimes even when the man touches the girl, she feels so irritated and offended. So nobody would understand. So she is suffering. And that's why even after having 5 children, at one point, if she has the least opportunity, she goes out of that thing.
Definitely.
If she can travel out of this country, that's finished.
You have so many other women who are trapped on the spot. They think that after having even 1, 2, 3 kids, that's the end of it. You need to stay there and take care of the kids. There's no way for you to move.
You know, it gets to
and you're still afraid of tradition.
I think it's the mentality.
You're just afraid of what your parents might do to you.
Education counts a lot.
Yeah.
When I talk of education, I'm not talking about the formal education of being in the classroom. That's maybe you have to be open, talking to people about what you're going through. Sometimes people need to talk to you. Sometimes you need to. It's difficult.
When you're close up.
When you're close up, then you suffer. That's why some people even go about by even hanging up themselves, or they are committing suicide, or they are just funny. And then they get wild sometimes. They are always very angry. Aggressive. They don't just want to, but you don't know because they are dying. They are suffering from something. You find their homes, and when you are even talking, most often those women who are inside that house, their children are wayward because she is not in love with that man and she doesn't even care. She's not there. It's her body that is there. Okay. So the children are suffering. So if you find it, when the two partners are fine, their children are fine. When they are not fine, nobody, because either the children are suffering the consequences because this woman will always abuse, or the other way around.
Now, don't you think there's a problem with the education right at the base?
I think yes. So
at the level of the families, don't you think
the
that's
level
a problem?
of the family, you know, the family have to. It's something that I think I'm happy that we are having opportunities like this to start talking to people. I always say, don't just get up at one moment, or because your daughter is getting married tomorrow, and then that 1 week you have to educate her on being a woman. Okay. There's different being a nice girl for the society and being a housewife, or even a nice man and being a good husband. Those education, that's why you find sometimes in some church services, they take hours to try to lecture you about how to become a good husband, or trying to. Nothing is sinking in their head there. Okay. All the man is having something in his head and the woman is having something in her head.
I like
too.
something you said, Pastor, talking about the way the parents live with the children at home.
Yes.
It has the direct influence.
Yes.
The way they grow up, the partners, the parents themselves. The child know that, no, this is how my father is.
As role models.
I cannot bring this guy, I cannot bring this rascal or this person who is smoking or something to my parent, my dad.
Type of person
exactly. Just from the way they grew up. So it has a big role. That's already an education that it is indirect. It's even indirectly, because the parents don't sit you down to say, no, this is how I want it, but just the way they live at home. There are some people that you never bring in front of your dad. Probably he's a drunkard or whatever. How do you start vis-a-vis the way people are living at home? There are things that don't just happen.
You know, there are some people or some girls that they want to get married. Their desire to get married is not because they like a man. They enjoy the way their parents are living. And she is seeing herself getting married. Then some don't want to get married. I don't like the way my father treated my mother. The fighting and everything. And then sometimes you, the parents, don't even have an influence on that girl, because you go tell her, she will tell you off to one day. I mean, what do you want me to copy from you? What you're telling me or what I saw you living?
So the education and your lifestyle.
Your lifestyle.
Around the kids.
Around the kids at every time.
Matters a lot.
And it depends on the parents, because some girls will never take two from their parents. So if they were crazy parents and you were never home, and then what do you want to come tell me? You don't even know how everything. Then I want to get married. You come to tell me, I'll tell you no.
Now let's look at parents' influence. Does it have any consequences?
That's why I say it depends on who are you calling there now as your parent. Because if it's an absentee father or mother, how do you want to
influence? If a parent is never there, he sees the interest, maybe he wants to influence the child, knowing, maybe look at the background, where the man is coming from. He has a lot of things to say.
Let me tell you something that will shock you. Do you know that when people want to get married, we all pretend? I'm not real me because I want to get you. So sometimes maybe I've been pretending all around, maybe your parents, and they don't really know me. Yes, so even when we are even dating, do you know that when girls and boys are dating, they're pretending because nobody wants to
they
help
want to get you first.
Yes. so how do you now say
you see the real colors when you're
yes, so no, that's where the real man comes out. Now you think that the man is changing or that woman has changed. No. Because at that time, if you get on her leg, no, it's okay. But now when it gets there that you and her inside the house for like 1 year, 2 years, no, she won't take no shit. She's just being herself.
So what's the right thing to do?
the right thing to do, I always turn it back,
What are
is
the
like,
positive and the negative side?
yes. See, like I said, it's direct influence, and sometimes maybe if you have those good parents or people you've been brought up culturally, there are some cultures that just make you to just be a nice person, a nice woman, a nice housewife, a nice this. Sometimes they do advise. What I would say is that parents should advise, because this girl goes out and find a guy, probably they have been dating, or not even dating, they were schooling maybe for some time, for 5 years, 3 years, 2 years. They met in the university. For some reason now they want to
go.
go.
Brings it to the parents just say no.
No, that one, why? You have to give your reason.
5 years wasted, and you start like, how do you
I
start all
know.
over
Some
again?
people will say no because of religion. Some people will say no because of color. Some people will say no because of their culture, tradition, and so reason. You have to tell me why, and then you have to go by proving. There are many things. If I still go back, like the film Coming to America, Eddie Murphy getting to get married. He was just introduced to a woman, and he said, I can't get married to this woman. Only dogs. So he had to go look for his own woman, and they had to, I want the woman to fall in love.
Accepted
Yes.
his choice of a woman.
Yes.
Because there are people who don't know how to say no to your parents. They just accept everything. They're scared of telling their parents
That's what we said
no,
earlier, that they will die
and it
in silence.
affects your whole life. Or maybe there's a way of saying it to your parents.
See,
Emanuela. Maybe it's a way of saying it, or maybe sitting down your parents and.
I'll say it in quotes. There's parenting disobedient. I don't know if that word exists, but that's the level you need to take. At one point, when they call you an adult, is because you should be able to take your own decision. There's a time that you're under your parents, because they say the decision you can take at that time, you need to be directed. You're unable to take a good decision on your own. But when you're called an adult, it's because there are certain things you can say no and yes. There are things in the house right up to date that your parents do, and you say, no, this thing is wrong. You're an adult, and they too are adults, and you can tell them, no, this thing is wrong. Why? Because you have another eye. There's another way of looking at things. The society has also educated you in one way or the other, even apart from the home parenting. So there are things that you see differently, and you tell your mom, maybe even if you don't live with them and you just go back home, just things in the house, you see them doing some kind of things, and you say, no, mom, this thing is not right. I want it to stop. Probably it was happening, but now you're grown up and you see it another way. It needs to stop. It's just the same. So you can be able to say no. The way you guys are seeing this thing, I'm not seeing it this way. You need to prove otherwise.
All right, Pastor, you want to react?
Yeah, see, why should a parent say no? Sometimes it could be because I want you to finish your education. I want you to be at this level. Now, if it comes to cultural, because of this, you have to tell me why. Then you give me all the reasons. Now, but I think then sometimes it's because of religion, because it is, say, impossible, or let me say, put it this way, difficult for a Christian to get married to a Muslim. Okay, then again, an Indian, a white Indian, to get married to a black, that's again another problem. You find the Arabs, so you find so many things like that, and they will try to do. So sometimes some of them run away. So it is so difficult. So, but when we're talking on that, it's just those are just some extreme cases. But I think the parents are there sometimes to advise. You might come with this person, then they look at it, then they advise you.
We have a lot of women who are suffering, who are going through similar situations. Now, in just a few words, we're running out of time. What advice do you give to women out there?
I would say don't throw away what your parents are saying. I always said the parents have 30% because you have the decision, you're the one living with the person, but give them the benefit of a doubt and listen to them and let them prove to you, give you reasons why they are saying so. And if the reason is tangible, then why not listen to them? But if it's not, then live your life.
All right, Pastor.
Well, those who are already there, what I can advise is this. I mean, you just turn to God in prayers and try to attend seminars or talk to people how you can go about it.
At times you even pray and you're more confused.
No, it is not. Sometimes why are you praying?
And at the time when you want to make a big decision, you have 5 men beside around you, so you're getting more confused.
No, we are talking about the people who are already inside now. Those who are already inside, they should. I mean, if you are already there, I'm not here to tell you to go divorce. I'm not here to tell you to run away. Now you turn back to God. Turn to God and ask, what are the things you want, or what are the things you did not like? Because God is able. He can change water into wine. He's able. He can bring water out of a rock. So by so doing, we always advise, turn back to God and you pray. That's what I can say.
And very briefly, I want you to tell us about the family counseling, because you have so many women who need to be counseled, but they don't know how to go about it. Maybe very briefly.
You know, with most often people don't even like talking even like to their pastors, or even to their reverend father, or even to relatives and friends, because they use them against them, or in a way, or abuse them, or they tell it to people indirectly. So now, what we are trying to do with this Dr. Shu, we are trying to get some centers that you must be secretive to listen to some people and not even tell, or even try to use it in a way. Like I come in this show, I try to say, okay, there was this, because some people feel hurt. Now, you try to let them open up.
Okay.
They can look for people who they can open up to, if they're pastors or even elderly people, even they're elderly women who can still advise you, talk to you if you cannot. It helps. It will really go a long way.
All right. I want to thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And to you all to say thanks for watching. The program was Turn Up, a program that seeks to empower women and the girl child. Thanks for watching. Take another rendezvous same time next week. Goodbye.